When I was in second grade, I had two classmates that I used to confuse a lot. They were both from India, and I confused their names and their faces a lot. And even when I got it straightened out, I thought it was funny to call them by their wrong names, and it drove both of them crazy. I just thought it was really funny because one of the kids that I had confused, he really cared that I called him the right name, and he would get really upset. But the second one, he didn't care so much, and he would often tell the first one that maybe I was referring to him when I was saying the name, even though he sat halfway across the room. He was just trying to probably not cause a big scene out of it, so it was good. And I just love the fact that the first one got so crazy over it, and I kind of did it to form a relationship with the second guy. I thought that when the second guy would come to break up the argument, it was a good way to form a friendship there. So I kind of sacrificed the first guy in order to get at the second guy. So it was kind of that kind of dynamic. And the first guy, he and I got into another argument one time. We had gone into the cafeteria, and he had dropped a $5 bill on the floor, and I picked it up and I ran with it. And he chased after me throughout the school, and eventually the teacher made me give it back to him. But a few years later, he said that I had never given back the money, and he wanted the money back because we had moved across town and ended up in a different school until we ended up in middle school again. And now all of a sudden he says I owe him $5 and he wants it back. And I was all confused, and I called his mother, and his mother said that I had indeed given it back because she doesn't remember anything like that. And she told her son that she would tell him to stop talking about it, but the next day at school he was still talking about it. It just became this big joke. I think he was trying to get revenge at the wrong name issue, even though that was 3 years earlier. It was just kind of funny. Okay, so when I was in 7th grade, I competed in a math counts contest, and my dad came with me to the contest. We had to travel about a 3-hour driving distance. We lived in Pittsburgh, and the contest was held in Harrisburg. And so when we got to the hotel, my dad wanted to call some people. And back then, we didn't have cell phones back then. This was in the late 90s. My dad needed to put down a deposit at the hotel in order to use the hotel phone. So he had me go down to the lobby to put down the deposit. And when I got to the lobby, I decided to wander around in the hotel. And I ended up in a video game room, and I looked on the ground and I saw this crumpled up piece of paper. And given that it was math counts, there were a lot of kids there. I was wondering if somebody was leaving like some kind of a note, and maybe I could meet somebody. You know, I'm always looking for my future wife. Even back then I was. And it's kind of funny because back then, now in hindsight, my future wife probably wasn't even born yet when I was looking for her. And so I opened up this crumpled piece of paper, and it's a $20 bill. I got really excited. I started dancing around the hotel, and then when I got to the elevator, I almost couldn't breathe. I was just so excited about finding $20. And I go back to the hotel room, and my dad is so upset because I had been out for like an hour just wandering around the hotel. And he was like, "Where have you been?" I told him I found $20 in the arcade room. And he was pretty upset about that too. He thought my dad is a pretty honest guy, and he thought I should have tried to find out whose money it was, but I decided to keep it because I knew I wouldn't do too good in math counts. I wanted at least something to celebrate the trip over. I didn't think I would make it to nationals, and sure enough, I didn't. Okay, when I was in 6th grade, I had a classmate. He and I both went to a swimming class, and we had to take a school bus to the high school where the swimming pool was. And every Tuesday we would take a bus to the high school. And he and I got really excited about going to swimming class because there was a girl in there that we both liked. And one Tuesday morning when we were getting ready to go to the swimming class, I noticed that somebody had put a combination lock on my locker, and I couldn't get my swimming stuff. And I was just about to go to the principal's office to find out. I thought maybe somebody had used the wrong locker, maybe had a new student or something. And I was just about to head to the principal's office when my classmate, he stopped me, saying that he was the one who had put the lock on the locker, and he gave me an ultimatum to never look at that girl again, or else he would just really mess with my life. And I was so upset at that remark that I told him to mind his own business. And he started walking away from the locker, saying, "I guess you don't want to go to swimming class then." He started walking toward the school bus, and I got really frustrated. I kicked the locker and I screamed. And at that moment, the principal just happened to come by, and we both got in serious trouble. I think we both got an after-school detention over it. And that same year, I had another problem with a teacher of mine. We were in. I was taking a high school math class at this time. Actually, I had to take a bus in the morning to go to this special classroom because I had skipped a few years of math. And one day, while using a graphing calculator, I forgot to turn the calculator off, and the batteries were dead by the next day. And my teacher was so upset. And she explained to me how much batteries cost and all that. And I got so upset that she was upset over what was only like $2 probably. That later that week, I think it was a Friday, when everybody was out to lunch, I went to that room and I turned on all of the calculators and I left them on the whole day. And by Monday, none of the calculators were working. And my teacher never figured out it was because I took some revenge. But it was that. I was just upset that she made such a huge fuss over it. A quick reminder would have been fine, but she made a big fuss in front of the whole classroom. And it was just... I just wanted some revenge. Okay, my first year living alone, I was living in a house in a suburb of Pittsburgh, and it was Halloween, and I decided to pull a prank of giving people dark baking chocolate. It's kind of hard to do nowadays because nowadays the only chocolate I know of comes in this one big bar. They used to come packed in half-ounce packages inside the box, and one of the kids vomited big time in front of the house, and his parents were very upset and explained that his kid had ADHD or some other condition, and asked what I had given them. And I thought it was kind of weird because people with ADHD probably shouldn't be eating a lot of sugar to begin with, and he's going trick-or-treating and eating the stuff that he's getting. And so out of just frustration that his parents would allow for that, I said, well, it's the other people who are giving your son poison. I'm giving the healthiest stuff on the block. And his parents got really upset. That was that. And it just reminds me that we have to enjoy the little moments for what they are, because they'll never happen the same way again. And, right now I'm going through this problem with a lot of people just unfriending me, both on Facebook and offline. And for I don't know why. Is it because of my new job or something's going on in my life that is showing some disapproval. I think it might be that I love to view outer space. There's a lot of people who think the Earth is flat. They think that NASA is a huge scam, if you will, of our tax money. I might be attracting a lot of those people to get rid of me. The reason I started viewing outer space is kind of funny. I had gotten into a disagreement with somebody at a shopping mall a few miles away from where I live, and I ended up getting banned from the shopping mall. It's kind of awkward what happened. I got into a disagreement with somebody who I thought had humiliated me, and got into an argument. And at the time, I lived closer to that place, and I decided to, instead of going to that shopping mall, I decided to start viewing outer space. I just needed something else to occupy me. After work, or and that was that. And unfortunately, I guess a lot of people are showing a little bit of disapproval with me viewing outer space or something. But it's fun anyway. Recently, ever since some of my friends got rid of me, I discovered that a lot of things can be fun without the friends too, and so it's been good. And the memories from when I was a kid really reinforce the idea that we really should enjoy every moment for what they are. Thanks for watching.